Hello everyone and welcome back to Nathrandyr's Guide to Everything. Today we're going to be looking at leveling up the fighter Reggie Wick that we created in the last one. I'm also going to show you around a little bit of multi-classing and just advise on some more magic items as well that might be good for a character like this. And I'm getting... the more and more I think about it, the more and more I want to play this character. And just so you know, in case I'm rushing through this a little bit, I don't mean to. This is just the second time of me recording this video because the file corrupted. So hopefully this goes well. I should basically race through this. I know exactly what I'm doing now. There's no thinking involved, I hope. But let's jump into D&D Beyond. So my characters, as we go back over to Reggie Wick, and I'm going to show you some, essentially, I'll flick this back on just for another example. Show you some multi-classing and my thoughts behind it. So for a fighter, first of all, we're going to level up again all the way up to 5th level this time around. And I know our dexterity is at 19 currently, so for our 4th level ability score improvement, we go for dexterity, which takes us to the maximum of 20. And we're also going to pump into wisdom as well, just so we're closer to getting an extra grit point as a gunslinger. That's our resource for doing all sorts of really fun stuff with our guns. And equally, we get extra attack at level 5, which is going to be incredibly useful for us. And once we hit level 5, the next couple of levels, we're going to just mix it up a little bit. We're going to add another class, and you can see, if this is the first time you're seeing multi-classing, you can see some of these things have requirements, essentially, for you to be able to play that character. You can turn that off. So just ask your DM if they require the multi-class requirements. If you're going to do something like this, you can turn it off just on the home screen here. It's not actually necessary for what we're picking, which is the rogue. But for paladin, I think it was barbarian as well, you will need approval from your DM to turn that off or actually meet the requirements with your statistics. However, the reason we're going for rogue is for a little bit more of expertise, and I think it leans into the character's roleplay a little bit more about who they are, this kind of bounty hunter character that knows exactly what they want, and basically an assassin for all intensive purposes. So we get an extra proficiency, and we're actually going to go with, I couldn't decide last time either between acrobatics or investigation, but I think all things considered, investigation will do us better over the course of a campaign, finding targets and things like that. I think we would have quite a keen eye for that kind of stuff. And with expertise, we're going to continue that with just having Hawkeyes, essentially, as soon as we are playing an Aarakocra. We're going to go with expertise in perception and investigation. And this, essentially, expertise, for those that don't know, for the newbies out there, your proficiency bonus becomes doubled for all ability checks with this specific thing. And this is why rogues can become so powerful early on, is because they get huge bonuses early on in the campaign for specific skills, so they become really good at a couple of things. So we're going to lean into that a little bit more, and I think this fits perfectly. Perception is the most rolled skill in the game, investigation not far behind, to find traps and find our quarries, our targets as well. So another first level ability is a rogue. We get sneak attack. So if we have an advantage on an attack roll against a creature and we're like hidden, we can get an extra 1d6 to that target that we hit. Also, and because we're using a ranged weapon, that works, by the way. It's not any weapon, it has to be finesse or ranged. However, you don't need advantage if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it. So if you have an ally that's next to the target, you automatically get the opportunity to do a sneak attack. So incredibly powerful, and this should be coming off most of the time, really. So it's just an extra 1d6 all the time. So why wouldn't we want that? Thieves' Cant is a little bit more situational. It's just the language of thieves, basically, so you can hint at things to people in bars or something, see if you can get your way into an underground network or whatever it might be. This is more roleplay stuff, and I guess chat with your DM about how useful this kind of thing will be. And we went for 2 levels in Rogue as opposed to 1, so we get access to Cunning Action, which is an incredible ability as well. Starting at 2nd level, your quick thinking and agility allows you to move and act quickly. You can take a bonus action on each of your turns in combat. This action can be used to take the dash, disengage or hide action. So as opposed to using our action sometimes to dash across the battlefield if we need to change our position, we can just do it as a bonus action instead, which is incredibly powerful. Also, if something actually gets to us, because they never should because we're at range, we can take the disengage action so we don't take any attacks of opportunity and things like that, or we can be a sniper way at the back of the battlefield, take a shot, run somewhere else and hide. All these things, all these opportunities, and it just opens up this and builds a picture for this assassin, this bounty hunter character, I thought. And we wouldn't be taking any more levels in this, just the 2, and then going fighter all the way from here, just to make sure that we're being super effective as a damage dealer. That is our primary function after all. And so to our ability scores now, you can see we have a dex of 20 and a wisdom of 17, so that's now prime for a +4 at the next ability score improvement chance we get, which I'm excited for. And in the description, oh, we did actually miss something here. So let's go for, I think proficiency with smith tools would be appropriate. If we're building our own guns and things like that, maybe getting enchanted by an artificer in our party or a wizard or something like that, we need to be able to build the tools to build our weapons, right? I think smith's tools along with tinker's tools will be amazing for that kind of thing, so it's good flavour. And let's take a look at the character sheet. I don't think this video is going to be as long as the previous one, just because there's not that much to talk about. We're not selecting any spells or anything like that, unfortunately, but I will go into a few magic items that I think you should prioritise, or things that would just be very effective, a good example of those. So glancing at our character sheet again, we get a 25-foot walking speed, which I didn't actually notice first time around, but it's a good job we've got a 50 flying speed, so we can just fly everywhere basically. Our investigation now you can see is a +7, which is incredible, due to our expertise, but our perception is +9. So we see everything. I mean, our passive's 19 at this point now too, so we really do see everything. Kind of just taking a glance through the character sheet, you can see the adept marksman feature, which I didn't overview this in the first video. This is your grit. This is where you can modify your shots and things like that. So if I was to rename this, I'd probably name it, I don't know, something fun, but probably just grit, just so I can find it more easily, because adept marksman's not something that triggers in my mind as a feature. But you can see here you got your uses of it. At the moment that's 3, but next ability score improvement we could get 4 by upping our wisdom, which would be really important for us. We've got a sneak attack summary at the bottom here as well, and our DC is 16 at level 7. That's pretty good for dropping something like that. Obviously you're probably not going to want to try disarming something that's really strong, because they'll probably hold on, I would think. But yeah, so there's kind of a summary of our features and traits. And what I'll do now is, you can see a few spoilers here from the first time I tried to record this. Some magic items that might be great, or I know would be great for a character like this. So let's take a quick look. The first thing I did was up the armor class a little bit. We upgraded from leather to studded leather, and if you can get a +1, incredible, because studded leather is open to being destroyed by something, because it's not magical. But regardless of that, as a fighter and a damage dealer primarily, you need to prioritize getting a good weapon. And in this case, I've managed to acquire a pistol +1, which means it's a magic weapon, so nothing will resist its damage, as it were, as well as a lantern of revealing, which I'll go into in a second, and a cloak of displacement, which does require attunement. So all of these things I thought leaned into the role play of the character more, which is what I like to do with my magic items. Give the opportunity for the players to think of a useful use for a specific item. So sometimes it can seem obscure, but I like to think that down the road they'll find a way to make the most of it. And I think, well, straight out the gate, as a rare item at level 7, this is incredibly powerful, so thank the gods if you manage to get a hold of a cloak of displacement. Essentially, whenever you get attacked by something the first time, it's always at disadvantage until you're hit, and then that resets on the next round. So you should never be in combat anyway. If you're using pistols, basically that's not going to be good for you, I can't imagine. We do have a melee weapon, but that's not where we're going to perform best. And for someone that's just going to be unloading from the back line, it's just going to be super powerful and really, really fun to use. You just be avoiding everything, and it's kind of that plot armor almost from like the John Wick movies or the Mandalorian, where he doesn't seem to get hit as much as he should, or even if he does, it ping bounces off the armor, whatever it might be. And I've already covered the pistol. It's just a magic weapon. We needed it, and it increases our to hit significantly. We're at plus 11 now, which is crazy good. And finally, the Lantern of Revealing, and this again is more of a roleplay type scenario. Essentially, you can burn it just with normal oil, but it finds invisible creatures. So I feel like with our perceptiveness and our investigation skills, if we were perhaps tracking a target or trying to find something, maybe a hidden item that's invisible, or the person is invisible, the creature that we're hunting is invisible, this can help us find them. So if we just hear something at the corner of the room with our +9 perception or our passive perception, we can flick the lantern in their direction and reveal them for all to see, so our party can take advantage. Things like that. I kind of see it if it was a sci-fi universe, if I was actually the Mandalorian, or in Star Wars it would be like an X-ray vision or a scanner, almost Predator-like, and reveal anything that's hidden in the room. But along with our magic items, nothing else much has changed. It's always one of those things with fighters. They have one job, and that is to dish out damage, and there's always opportunities for some fantastic roleplay stuff with magic items and whatever it might be. And in this case, we're in Aarakocra, so we're flying. It's not something anyone's going to be used to seeing, I would imagine, but it can still be really fun to play. Personally, I prefer spellcasters. I just think there's more utility and more options, and that's just my preferred style of play. But this does intrigue me. I really would like to play a flying character flying around the battlefield, just shooting sniper rifle shots and all kinds of craziness. It sounds really fun. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this recorded properly this time. This was my beginner's guide, how to, on a slightly different take on a fighter, the Gunslinger class from Critical Role, and a multi-class as well. It's a 2-for-1 video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and a comment down below if you did, or if you didn't. I'd like to hear back from you guys, and it's been great to interact with some of you in the comments as well. I've really enjoyed that recently. So spread the word. Hopefully we can help more people and get more people into this amazing hobby, this obsession for me at this point, and look out for all my videos in the future. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Nathrandir's Guide to Everything. See you in the next one. Bye bye.